When you've been married for about 50 years, you definitely know how to make your spouse laugh.
You want to go to John?
This is one you should read right here.
Description of a worthy woman.
Family and church are a big part of Ken Vogel's life, and he and his wife Sherry spend a lot of their time at the Canton Baptist Temple. Last summer, Ken was at the church for Bible study. Sherry was with their daughter. Ken was about to eat with a group of friends when the last thing he expected to happen happened.
And all of a sudden, my left eye starts watering, and I'm wondering, well, I must have had something in my eye. And the more I rubbed, the worse it got. And by the time I got done rubbing my eye, a white wall came up, and it blinded me in the left eye.
What had happened was that Ken had a stroke. It's called a ischemic optic neuropathy, and it happens when the blood flow is blocked to the optic nerve. Vision is lost, and if not treated quickly, that vision loss can become permanent.
And I called my wife right away, and I told her, Sherry, I says, I don't know what's wrong, but I lost the sight of my left eye. She said, what are you talking about? I said, I can't see. I says, I'm blind in the left eye. And she said, Ken, go to the hospital right away. I says, no. I says, I think I'm going to go to Bible study first, and then I'll go.
But Sherry and the couple's daughter definitely overruled that move. But Ken still thought he was okay. So in the middle of a stroke, he gets in his car and drives himself from the church to Mercy Hospital in traffic. And it's a good thing that he listened to his family, because the next 4 hours for him would be crucial.
The first thing you want to be able to differentiate it, is it ruptured blood vessel and brain hemorrhage, or is it a blood clot?
Dr. Abbas Karal is a cerebral vascular neurologist with the Cleveland Clinic and was on the team of doctors who treated Ken. He says there is a clot-busting medication that if given within the first 4 hours of this type of stroke, it can clear the clot. But the exact type of stroke has to be diagnosed first.
You need an ophthalmologist who can do a stat urgent exam in the emergency room and rule out a hemorrhage. In this case, the reason why he got immediate intervention was they called me after. So initially he came in with vision loss, and very promptly they were able to get ophthalmology to see him.
His name is Paul Garfinkel, not Garfunkel, but Garfinkel. And he came in. He was on call. He wasn't at the hospital.
Ken says after Dr. Garfinkel saw the blood clot, he had an MRI. Dr. Corral and Ken's stroke team began thrombosis treatment, which included medications to break up that clot.
And I'm sitting here and I'm looking down at the floor. And of course, I'm thinking, what's going on here? And all of a sudden, my vision started coming back. And you know, there was 8 people on that floor that was taking care of me, but there was really 9, the Holy Spirit. I'll never forget it.
Doctors say about 93% of people who suffer this type of stroke and get clot-busting treatment in time will recover, but with some vision loss. About 6%, even with treatment, will still go blind. But more than 6 months later, Ken's vision is just as good as it was.
Okay.
Ken is back at work at the church, where he is a part-time janitor. Even though he retired years ago as a peach grower, he says if you're not busy, you're not living. And with his vision back to where it was, every day he works and every day he gets to spend with his wife and family is all part of the blessing that Ken says is with him every day.
They immediately prayed for me. And then I knew that God intervened. I mean, technology is great, but with God, it's greater.
In Canton, Roosevelt Leftwich, Fox 8 News.